Hi there, everybody. This is your favorite artist and author of the Yoranthium book series, Mark Bromley. And today I want to talk to you about a 2016 piece that I did. It was inspired off of Craigslist. I ran into some of those psychopaths and weirdos that you find on Craigslist, terrible, awful people that you find on Craigslist. I stopped using Craigslist honestly because of the wokeness on there and the perversity that showed up on Craigslist. It turned into a tool of depravity, and a lot of the people that I ran into on there talked to about art on that website here in Denver, Colorado for the Craigslist is the worst people on the face of the planet. So I created this artwork right here because this is one of their people from that Craigslist. They were trying to solicit X-rated work, and it's something I don't do. I don't do that kind of stuff. My work is actually rather decent and somewhat respectful, and even if it does get a little provocative, it is actually respectful. So I created this piece called Twig and Berries because I think this is what they were looking for. I first created a piece of paper that I textured. I textured it so well that it kind of reminded me of skin, basically. And I made it a little bit bruised, kind of purplish. And then I created a semi-tattoo-like image, and I put it on top of the paper image that I created. And it was first of a twig, and then I gave it a little branch to give that suggestion of a letter. And I hope that you like that idea right there for the twig part. I I think that's fantastically wonderful on this piece. And then there was a couple of berries I had to add to it because every single twig has to have a couple of berries, particularly blueberries were the most apt for this piece. And I thought it was wonderful. Needless to say, the creep and the weirdo and the person that suggested such a piece of art from me and stuff like that from Craigslist did not think my work was so kind. But I thought it was wonderful. It turned out wonderful. I think it turned out rather excellent. Probably one of the top-notch type Klimt type works that you'll see in the Denver area in a long time. And I think it was quite inspirational. And I think it pretty much pulled out the very essence of what trying to get any kind of work off of Craigslist is like for an artist. What it's truly like talking to the dregs and the bottom feeders of Denver, Colorado itself, and what their ideas really look like when you translate it to an actual decent picture. Well, I'm Mark Bromley. I'm living in the North Korea of Colorado, where they reward the most dirtbag of people in the society while making it very impossible for the better people of this community to actually do anything or get ahead anywhere. And they came up with a really lewd idea, and I decided to set them straight on that kind of idea. And this is back in about around 2014, 2016 area, and that's when they were allowing people like the Pleasure Brothers down in Denver to run amok, and our Democrats at the state legislature and in the Denver City Council were actually seriously considering creating an Amsterdam red light district in Denver itself because they were trying to promote that kind of debauchery, that kind of disgusting behavior, and that bleh, objectification of people. And I know how that was because I was down in Denver, Rock Island and Modine's and that clubbing experience. And they had that little gentleman club right around the corner uh, there in Denver, Colorado. I was never in that club ever. I guess there's some stories people have been saying that no, I don't hang out in those places. I don't go around them. I don't stay there, and I don't really club in those places. And I don't talk to people there. I don't drink beer. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't hit bars. Um, it's just something I never did. Even in Japan, people had rumors But usually when I hung out with other people, I was drinking coffee. That's what I usually ordered inside those bars that they call them. And it was coffee. And I guess they didn't know that. I guess they really didn't pay attention to what I was really drinking. Because if they did, they realized it was actually a coffee mug, not a beer bottle, coffee mug. And yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are just uh, yucky people. But for some reason, that's what was going on in the world. It could have been likely because the power that keeps the Democrats in power, a lot of them are actually involved in the dark side of our cities, in the drug dealing, the drug distribution networks. They're kind of like Hunter Bidens running around the place. That's basically what they're like a bunch of criminal figures. They're always referring to some kind of big guy, some kind of person that's an actual politician that's actually part of the system. Even when I was running around in the rave companies, some of the rave activities were actually funded through the known politicians down in Denver. Their names would eventually get dropped as to a source of the incoming revenue of Democrat revenues to control the information being put out there. What we did in the rave companies was actually a programming tool used to educate the children by giving them a place to get them off the streets so they wouldn't get in trouble. And so they went to the raves. And so we had these big screens, videos, and all the stuff that was actually being promoted to them was a message. So a lot of the way that Denver is right now, a lot of that anarchy and chaos and all that rioting that took place down in Denver in 2020, that's the direct result of what was really going on in Denver through Craigslist, through the messed up nature of organized crime operating in government in the state of Colorado. And this is my opinion of what Democrats really are: a twig and blueberries. There you go. And yeah, I think that sums up the experience of having to deal with the grody-ness of what the liberal hive mind is actually like. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's slippery. It's greasy. It's never been fun. And yeah, this is Twig and Berries. It's a very prolific piece. It's a Denver piece. It's basically inspired by the Denver Craigslist and the people that you interact with there that are just out of their minds. They're just bonkers. And a lot of that, you see it happening right now in our current society. A lot of people just being dishonest or harmful and hurtful towards our society. They don't respect anybody, especially if they don't think you're wealthy enough. If they don't think you're wealthy enough, they treat you really poorly and really badly. They treat you like the North Korea here in the United States. And that's what they're trying to build, the North Korea kind of internment camps, imprisonment camps, tiny homes. Yeah, it was discussed in Denver, Adams County, Jeffco County. I'm pretty sure every county's had some kind of discussion like that about tiny homes and trying to shove people into them so they can use them as a resource tool like slaves. Slavery. That's basically what it is. It was the same thing in the Navy. It's why I had to quit the Navy. They wanted to destroy my family. They wanted to kill my son through Planned Parenthood. And they wanted me just to be a sailor fixing their stuff, living in a coffin locker on a ship. That's what they wanted me to be. They didn't want to give me very many options. Stay in that coffin locker, fix their stuff. Yeah, they would promote me, but how far would they promote me to? When they started realizing that a lot of the lower enlisted that they were actually promoting didn't go to service schools. They didn't do ARC schools, so they couldn't be trained to do anything more than push a mop or push a broom or stand a watch. Yeah, the people that with a technical knowledge like me, the people that could actually fix things, that actually understood the equipment, the technology, that could actually replace things on the ship, can actually do shipbuilding stuff. Yeah, we were highly prized, and if we go up in rank, we start hitting uh, first class, chiefs, maybe even move over to officer ranks, Because, you know, there's the warrant officer ranks and then there's the maverick officer ranks. Yeah, if we moved away from that, then we won't be fixing shit. We'd just be sitting inside the shop twiddling our thumbs, spinning around in a chair all day, acting like we were administering things. And they wouldn't like that, so they eventually, even though they were giving me good conduct medals and treating me nicely, eventually they're going to want things to be fixed. And when they want the things to be fixed, yeah, they're going to find an excuse to suppress you and keep you down, just like they do here in Colorado. That's why I've lived a whole life in poverty, whole life in the North Korea of Colorado, because they always want somebody to fix their junk because they're not smart enough to do it themselves. I mean, you can give them all the degrees you want, but they're not smart enough to do anything. I mean, gosh, instead of choosing an engineering kind of person like me for city council, they chose a gymnast. That's what they chose. They picked a guy that was a gymnast. And it's like, well, he wasn't really much of anything. He actually just got a title. They gave him a job just to keep him busy, out of people's hair. And the reality is, he was completely useless. It's almost like the ensign they assigned to my shop while I was on the Kitty Hawk. Had no point being there, had no purpose, had really no real true function. And it happens in the military. They actually have so many officers that they have no real function. They have no real purpose. They have nothing to do. And they just put them in positions that are like made up, fake, false. No true reality to any of it. And then these officers are always upset. They're usually ensigns and lieutenants, and they get really upset because they have an E5 like me bossing them around, and they think it's unfair. They go to the captain, and the captain says, "Okay, you lieutenant, you ensign, you need to shut up and listen to the E5 because he's been here the longest. He knows what's going on, and he actually does the work." So yeah, that's exactly what it is. And and it's kind of sad that that's how our society is here in Denver, Colorado. We keep promoting really bad seed. I mean, Hunter Biden's proof of that. Alexander Soros, he's another example of another kid that's gone bad. That's basically you give them wealth and all they do is become abusive towards the society around them. Hunter Biden, especially so. I mean, there is a lot of information out there that he's committed crimes of using drugs, parties, call girls, prostitution things. And you know what? He's still on the up and up with what the Democrats want to be. That's usury, people. That's abuse towards other people. That's neglect. That's the North Korea system of government. And that's in your top of your Democrat Party. It's just a bunch of twigs and berries out there, isn't it? Just a bunch of swinging twigs and berries. Blueberries at it. And that's what this painting is. So yeah, there's a political statement about the Democrats, their involvement with the creation of Craigslist and the degradation of the internet and computer services and technology, and our whole world is being ran by a bunch of twigs and berries. Twigs and blueberries. You keep handing them enough, you hand the wrong people the most money, and all the good people are given nothing, but forced to live in a North Korea condition in the United States, here in Colorado. And that continues to happen. And it's always happening, always occurring. And you're listening to what? Perverts and dirtbags. These are the ones that you keep promoting in our society that don't really see the true reality of the George Floyds in this world, like myself, who have to put up with this messed up world. This world that's garbage. It is. It's the North Korea of the United States. And I have seen nothing different. I've put out so much artwork. I'm not getting help there. I put out my novels and nobody's helping me there. I put out actual products. Nobody's helping there. I put out a jacket with some wings on it. Nobody's helping there. You know, if you don't want to help people in this world that actually have real skills and real technology and real abilities, and you're not going to pay us a single dime, and you think we should do this, what, for free? That's North Korea, buddy. Where is the United States? Where's this United States that's supposed to actually provide for those who have actually worked really, really hard in their life? Where is it? It's nowhere. Instead, you guys would rather promote and keep advancing dirtbags in our society. My elections prove it. The people that you'd rather elect are real dirtbags. Dishonest, intolerant, ignorant, racist, and these are the people you keep promoting. And you wonder why there's these problems and why you were down in Denver rioting. It's because of them. It's because of the Democrats, the Confederates. Those are your colonists. Those are the people who came over here with bad intentions. Those are the people who took the lands away from the Indians through violent force. Those are the people that attacked you. They're all called Democrats. The people who owe you reparations, Democrats. The Democrats are the Confederates. The founder of the Democrat Party was the first person who brought slavery to the United States because he had a drug cartel on opium, and he needed a bunch of slaves to produce that opium in order to stay in charge. Joe Biden's biggest thing that he sells is pharmaceuticals because he's a drug dealer too. Hunter Biden's deals overseas were as always with mafia-type government officials. George Floyd had a knee put to his neck, and he was killed over the matter of $20. When I was growing up, back in the 90s, there was a movie that was put out called Faces of Death. In that movie, there was a man, I believe he was Russian, or maybe it was in Poland. I'm not sure which one it was, but I think he was Russian. And he got hauled off by the mafia who was running the government. The mafia, yes, organized crime, just like here in North Korea, Northland, Colorado, was running the government. And what those mafia figures did to him is they strapped him to a horse, to several horses, and then they had the horses run away from him and rip him apart, quite literally. This is what was in the video, Faces of Death. Back then, they released it in theaters because they did it at theaters. They didn't do it on computer screens. I don't know if you can even find the footage on the computers anymore, but maybe you can. But that's what they did. They ripped him apart with these horses. And you know, it came down to it that they said that he was in debt to this organized crime of government, the mafia, $25. $25 is what he owed them in American money. And people were outraged in the theater. They were shocked. That was just $25. And they ripped a person apart by horses. It's the same thing what happened to George Floyd, a knee to the neck. It's the same thing with the police harassment that I've faced here in North Korea, Northland, Colorado, growing up as a kid. The same kind of police harassment, where they didn't care about my life. Here in Northland, I was only about 12 years old, and some psychotic cop drove over here, showed up to my house, asked me to come outside. I did. And then he shouted again because I was still up on the ledge by the door. He'd come out of the house. So I did a little bit more. Now I'm on the edge of the extension of the porch where I'm actually just an arm's reach from this guy. And he's still yelling at me to come outside the house. And then I tell him, I'm not being a smartass. I'm just saying, because I'm like an arm length away from him. I'm outside. The sun's beating down on me. I am outside. And he grabs me by the shirt and throws me across the yard with such violence and such force that he really probably imagined in his head that when my head hit the ground, I would probably break my neck. That Northland police officer literally didn't care about my life. He didn't care if he almost tried to kill me. That's what was so horrific about the incident. He did not care if he was going to kill me or not. And for what? Turns out he was there for no reason. Wrong house, wrong person, wrong kid. But that wasn't the only time that they've done this. This has happened a few other times, and it's gotten more and more dangerous. It even got to the point where they actually had their hands on the hilts of their guns for something that was being alleged that never even happened. Another false incident later on. And this is the nonsense going on still in this world. That makes me very much like George Floyd. George Floyd is like that Russian guy in Faces of Death. People being harmed and killed and murdered over trivial matters that are just small and insignificant and really not that important at all. Just because some mafia type criminal figures want to be in power and they allow dirtbags and bad people to run amok and get away with their crazy lifestyle. So yeah, this is a mockery painting of a comment of somebody that was seeking some art, and they didn't like what I gave them. I guess they didn't like the twig and two blueberries because that's what it was, a twig and two blueberries. Yeah, dismantle the Democrat Party. Dismantle it. You want to fix this modern world? Well, the Democrat Party has existed ever since the creation of this nation. Think about who's the real problem. The real problem is the Democrat Party. Slavery, they say they ended, but it was the Democrats who had John Wilkes Booth assassinate Lincoln. That way, the VP, the vice president at that time, a Democrat, could regain power. And once he regained power, he created indentured servitude. He put people back into slavery again. Right after that. The open border, that's human slavery. That's human trafficking. That's exactly what that is. And that's what that's for. So, remember that. As an artist, it wasn't my intention to become political, but they made me political because they kept attacking my life ever since I was a child. Who's they? The Democrats. The same people that you're all upset about the system, the way the system is, the way the government is. It's the Democrats that have done that to you. It's the Democrats that let these evil people get their hands on you. You owe them nothing. Remember that. You owe them nothing. Get rid of them. Break them up and get rid of the Democrat Party. Have it dissolved. Thank you very much. I'm Mark Bromley. You have a great day. Artist and author of the Yoranthium book series.